Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to C.A.R. Entertainment. I'm your host Donald Hamilton, guys, and today we're going to be doing more A22 business studies, guys, but this time we're going to talk about a little bit about globalisation. Still recovering from my flu sickness. If you hear me snuffing or I cough throughout the video, I do apologise. It's coming back a wee bit more in terms of my cough, but yeah, we'll just have to get on with it, and I'm bringing you these videos because I know how important they are to get out. But yeah, we're going to talk about globalisation today in A22 business studies, so let's get straight into it. Sorry about that. So, competition then. Competition through globalization. Well, the international dimension of business is a type of competition that a business will face in its domestic and overseas market. You'll have something that's called perfect competition, which is whenever buyers and sellers are so numerous and well informed that all the elements of a monopoly are absent and a market price is beyond the control of the individual buyers and sellers. You have something called a monopolistic competition, monopolistic competition, either of them. This is whenever there's imperfect competition, meaning that there's many producers selling products that are differentiated from another, and hence they're not perfect substitutes. Then you have something, and yes, the word does look weird, but it is oligopoly. It can also be known as oligopolistic competition, and this is whenever the market structure has very few firms that dominate. The market is shared between few firms and is said to be highly concentrated. There are only a few firms that will dominate, and it is possible that many firms may also operate in the market. A key example in the UK would be the supermarkets. So for example, you have Asda and Tesco and Sainsbury's that dominate as the main three, then you have Lidl, Aldi, Waitrose, Morrisons, all of those ones that still operate. So the international dimension, and there's different features of the international dimension. The different features include trade barriers, cost of production, a trading agreement, and then under that you have the World Trade Organization, Mercosur, and G8 countries. The characteristics of globalization. Well, first, what is globalization? Well, globalization can be defined as the economic integration of the world's investment and monetary markets. It is a trend towards a small number of very large companies competing in a global market. Within globalization, you're going to find a lot of transnational corporations, which are huge companies that do business in several countries. There are many characteristics of globalization, such as that there'll be greater trade in goods between nations, there'll be an increase in transfers of capital and an expansion of foreign direct investment, always known as FDI, and this will be done by TNCs, which are transnational corporations, and meaning overall there'll be a rise in influence of sovereign wealth funds. There will be a development of global brands which will serve markets in higher and lower income. There will be high levels of migration with new nations joining the world trading system, and it will make the world economy more interdependent. So the causes of globalization and what drives it, what essentially makes globalization occur? Well, you have containerization, which is the cost of ocean shipping being less because it's not that expensive, and this because it's being lower will bring prices into the country of manufacture close to the prices in the export market, which means basically that the country that it's manufactured in, let's say the UK, will be close to the price in the export market that's going to be sold at, let's say the US, and with the exchange rates and all, it's going to be very good. So containerization allows that. You have technological change, which reduces the cost of transmitting and communicating. Economies of scale, which we did a video about, which is the increase in minimum efficient scale. If the MES is rising, then the domestic market is regarded too small to satisfy the selling needs of the industry. The opening of global financial markets, which is the removal of capital controls, facilitating the FDI, as we previously just stated back in the previous slide. Differences in tax payments, as corporations will benefit from lowering unit labour costs and developing and exporting fresh comparative advantages in production. You may have lower unit labour costs in like India, for example, as suppose the UK. And then you have less protectionism, which is non-tariff protection, as import is licensed and foreign exchange controls are dismantled, meaning borders are open and the average tariff levels have fallen. So you have the global market. Then there's different parts of the global market. We'll start off talking about the market, which is may have a similar lifestyle. So similar lifestyles may be in the market between your home market and foreign market. There'll be increased world travel and the development of world brands. Costs will have an effect as you're going to increase your economies of scale and increase your R&D costs, but you're probably going to have a reduction in transportation costs because it's going to be cheaper the way transporting goods through bulk and flying and containerization over over the oceans. Next one is competition. You'll have increasing world trade, meaning you'll increase the number of global businesses, and therefore more companies will become globalized. In terms of governments, there will be a creation of trading blocks and a reduction in trade tariffs, which will mean the collapse of communication, leading to an increase in numbers of open economies. And then there'll also be the privatization of state-owned businesses. There's two other definitions you may need to know, which is a multinational corporation, or an NMC, and this is a business which becomes globalized, and some companies make more money in a year than a country does in total. This would be something like Adidas or Nike. And then you have the World Trade Organization, or WTO, and this monitors and controls world trade. The advantages and disadvantages of globalization, then, quite an important bit of information for you to know well. The advantages is that there's reduced company costs as due to economies of scale. There's increased research and development and increased sharing of technology, with improved political and social relations between countries. You can also benefit from divisions of labour, and there will be higher per capita incomes to help countries achieve economic growth. Problems is that there will be eroding natural cultures. You can increase inequality between rich and poor countries, increased domination by MNCs, which is undemocratic, and you have increased environmental damage. Thank you for watching this video. I've been Dylan Hamilton from C.A.R. Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.